On to the next topic. We got two players who I believe in my heart are the two best, most unstoppable players all around in the NBA. That's Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant. I went on a tangent this week, a couple of days ago, trying to say Kawhi Leonard is the most unstoppable player in the league. Marcus Smart, the wing defender on the Boston Celtics, sentiment the intimate, mocked the intimate that Kawhi Leonard is the most unstoppable player in the NBA. So, Rick, in the playoffs, who is the most unstoppable player that you saw last season? Was it Kevin Durant or Kawhi Leonard? Hear what you got to say.
All right. Well, before I answer that, let me ask you: if Kawhi Leonard didn't get hurt in the playoffs this past, do you really think the Phoenix Suns would have beat him?
No, I don't. No, I don't. Not chance.
All right,
No,
I was
not
making
chance.
sure.
Not chance.
I
Not
was
chance.
making sure.
Not a
I was
chance.
like,
Not a chance. Let's just get that clear. Let's get that clear. No, not a chance.
I was just trying. I'm like, hold on. Let me ask him real quick before we move on. But okay, I think the most unstoppable player in the playoffs, when it comes to around that season, I'm gonna go with KD. Now, I'm not, going against anybody who, because it's subjective. I'm not going against anybody who feels that Kawhi Leonard, or LeBron or anybody feels that they're unstoppable in the playoffs. But I'm gonna go with KD for this simple reason. Because look, let's understand, people. Let me first give Kawhi Leonard his flowers while he's here. This dude is a two-time defensive player of the year. I don't think a lot of people understand how hard it is to get that award. I mean, shoot, LeBron caught an attitude so bad that when they gave it to Paul Gasol, Marc Gasol's brother, that one year, he just stopped playing defense for the last 10 years. So it's very hard to get that award, and Kawhi Leonard has too. But what I'm getting at is you have to ask yourself, and this is why I choose KD. When I think about unstoppable, I think about Superman, I think about, a tornado. I think about, natural disasters, things that are unstoppable, things that you just can't change no matter the condition. And when I think about that, I think about KD, because I feel like Kawhi and KD are really like this. I feel like they do this to each other year by year. Nobody's really up here or down here. I feel like both players are neck and neck. But the reason why I go with KD is because he's 3 inches taller. And I know everybody hears that KD's 7 feet tall, but in reality, he's 6'10". But he looks 7 feet. He has a 2-inch longer wingspan, right? And then also, not only does he play small forward like Kawhi Leonard, but he also can play the power forward and sometimes can even help you tremendously playing against your center. So to me, he can do a little bit more. I won't even say a lot more, but just a little bit more as far as an offensive set on any team that he'll play with. Also, the dude could shoot the ball so efficiently. He's like a Larry Bird on steroids. It's insane. And then on top of that, his true shooting percentage, I mean, it's almost like every time the ball leaves his hand, it's just going through the net. Now, again, I will say something about Kawhi. We all understand that he's just as efficient in that middle paint area too. He's almost a reminiscence of Michael Jordan a little bit back in some of his prime years. But the only reason why I personally, and again, this is subjective, I personally will go with KD is because at the end of the day, you can't teach 6'10". You can't teach 7'5" wingspan. It's like you can do a lot more when you can move a guy around within a defensive set and also on the offensive side of the game. And again, no shot at Kawhi. Like I said, if a person says Kawhi is better than KD, I honestly wouldn't even be mad. But I'm just saying, just for me, I could just in my mind see a lot more I could do with KD over Kawhi on any team in the NBA. But what do you think, BJ?
So I'm gonna go full fledged. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna, say my few points. I give the stage back to you. So this is my thing. Kevin Durant, in my opinion, just about 4 years ago, I would choose over Kawhi Leonard. And I want to give a shout out to one of my followers and one of my homeboys, Jacory Phoenix on my Facebook, who put me on game saying Kawhi Leonard's been a better player than Kevin Durant. And I was like a lot of the masses out there saying no, Kevin Durant is head and shoulders over Kawhi. Kawhi's a system player. Kawhi need the Spurs to be successful and all this, that. But he's stuck on his point that, no, this dude is the best player in the NBA, not Kevin Durant. And I was like, okay, let me think a little deeper. Kevin Durant, all-world scorer, 7 foot tall, and 6'10", you're going to give to. Has great defense, plays great defense, has accomplished, all the accolades you can accomplish in the NBA, MVP, championships, and for that nature. I got to say this. In 2017, when the Golden State Warriors faced the Spurs, I want people to look up this video. Game 1, before Kawhi Leonard, got hurt by Zaza Pachulia, Kawhi Leonard was cooking everybody, including Kevin Durant. They couldn't do nothing with him. He was hitting mid-range shots. He was going with his left. He was dunking on people. He was playing defense. You couldn't do nothing with this man. And I was like, what? It was just like nobody can do nothing with Kawhi Leonard. And we have to also remember Kevin Durant's 4 years older. So when I say 2017, that was around the time Kawhi started coming into his prime, around 25, 26 years old. And with that being said, I think Kawhi has gotten better and better. He's going to be one of the most interesting NBA Hall of Famers of all time because he got better every season. It wasn't like Kevin Durant or LeBron James who came into the league great. Kawhi had to develop year after year after year. And I feel like since 2018, 2019, this dude has arguably been the best player in the NBA. He took a team in the Toronto Raptors to the NBA Finals, a whole country, and won the championship. That's when that whole system player thing went out the window for me because the Spurs were the system. And he left that team who was just as dominant on an Eastern Conference team that's never been to the finals. But that's neither here or there. Rick, let me give you back the stage, and I'm going to finish up my point. Let me hear what you got to say, bro.
All right. So I knew this was going to be a tough one because, again, when you're basketball players and you love the game like me and B Jizzle do, and everybody who's watching the show right now, thank you. I will say this, just by a eye view, just loving the game, watching the game, BJ brought up a good point. Kawhi Leonard was cooking them boys back in the day. I remember that game. Kawhi was out there looking like baby Jordan back in 86, 87, doing his thing, hitting 60 points. I mean, going crazy. Like they couldn't do nothing with Kawhi Leonard. I have to agree. And because you made such a strong point, I'm about to cheat because when I looked at the stats, hey, you put me in the corner. You put me in the corner. So I had to go to the stats. And KD, on average, his 27 points in his career. Matter of fact, this past season, 26.9. So basically 27 points, 7.1 total rebounds. That's for his career in this past season. During his season, this past season, 5.6 assists, 4.2 in career in assists. Now we go up to Kawhi Leonard. 24.8 for his points, total rebounds 6.5, 5.2 in assists. That's for his season. Then you look at his career, 19.2 and 6.4 in total rebounds, 2.9 in assists. So looking at the stats, not only do we understand that KD is just a vicious offensive dragon that you really can't do nothing about once that ball is released. And again, everybody knows that watch the game that KD be looking like a little 6-foot guard out there with the ball in his hand. But I feel like just by looking at the stats, and it's not, throwing Kawhi away because, like I said, it's really hard, people. It is almost damn near impossible to get 2 of these defensive player of the years. So I'm not poo-pooing, but I'm trying to win an argument here. KD is way more effective and really almost 10 to 9 points better average over a career in his season when it comes to contributing to a team and winning a game. So what you got, B Jizzle? Because I'm about to lose over here, and I was in the corner.
Man, I didn't want to do it to you, but you made me do it. Look, man, the playoffs. I'm gonna read these stats off. You know what I'm saying? KD averaged 34 points last playoffs and 23 shots, 9 rebounds, 4.4 assists. Great numbers by Kevin Durant. Kawhi averaged 30.1 points per game on 19 shots, 7.7 rebounds, and 4.4 assists per game. So KD did average 4 more points than Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs. And I want to make this point very, very clear to all my basketball people. Just because you average more points do not make you a more dominant player. Bradley Beal had the highest scoring percentage or the highest scoring field goal this whole season. Is he more dominant than Kevin Durant? Is he more dominant than Kawhi Leonard? Is he more unstoppable than Damian Lillard? On the offensive side of the ball, he's not. So just because you have more points will make you more unstoppable. So let's look at the components when it comes to scoring the ball. 3-point, mid-range, attacking the basket, athleticism, physicality. Kevin Durant, 3-point, I'll give you that. He's a better 3-point percentage shooter than Kawhi Leonard. In the playoffs, he shot 40.2% from the three. Kawhi shot 39.1% from the three. So KD is a point higher than Kawhi Leonard from the 3-point shot, and I do agree with that. As far as the long ball, KD got him. They both shot, around the same amount of shots, per game in the playoffs. But this is where I run away with the argument. You ready?
I'm ready.
And in the paint, KD averaged 56.0% from the field. That's really good. 56.0% from the field in the playoffs. You know how much Kawhi Leonard averaged on a field goal percentage in the playoffs?
62?
64.5. 64.5% Kawhi Leonard averaged in the playoffs. That's sick. As many shots as a small forward, you're not supposed to average that in the playoffs against harder competition, in my opinion. Not disrespecting KD, but the Mavs and the Jazz are harder teams to me than the Celtics and the Bucks when fully constrained. That's just my opinion. The West is a harder conference. Attacking the basket. Kawhi Leonard has two of the most arguably hardest dunks in the playoffs. He had a dunk on the Dallas Mavericks against the Max Kleber, and he had a dunk against the Utah Jazz against Derek Favors. To me, he's a more stronger defender than Kevin Durant. I feel like he's able to go up above anybody above the rim. I just don't think Kevin Durant has the athleticism to match a Kawhi Leonard. I think he's long and lengthy, but most of his shots are coming off the curls, off the mid-range, off the pull-ups, and dribbling off and shooting over top of people, which is fine. Kawhi Leonard can do that, and he's more of a person that can attack the rim and dunk on you with ferocity. So that's another component that makes him more unstoppable. Who's more physical? Who is a player that's able to move players out the way, defenders, like it's no one's business, big or small? Kawhi Leonard, we both know, is strong as heck. 6'8", 240, very, very, chiseled with his body. KD has a small frame. So even though he is strong, he's not trying to move players out the way. And I'm going to say this. KD is unstoppable. Let's make that clear. But if I'm coaching against Kevin Durant, I'm telling my players like PJ Tucker, be physical with him. I want you to make it hard on him. Touch him, push him, rough him up, do what you got to do to make it a hard defense for Kevin Durant. You can't do that with Kawhi Leonard because he welcomes that physicality. He welcomes contact. He loves contact. So in that component, I can't do nothing with him. I'd rather guard a guy I can try to be physical with and get up in him than guard a guy that if I try to get physical with him, I can't do nothing with him. That's my point, and that's my case and scenario. But I'm going to go to one more point, bro, but I'm going to let you take the floor and respond to what I said.
Look, we can't deflect nothing you just said. I can't even dismiss it. I can't really even try to, scuttle away from the point I was trying to make against the point you just made. But again, as I said, people that's watching the show today and B Jizzle, as I said, I think they're like this. To me, there's really no somebody's blowing somebody out the water, except, of course, I will give it to Kawhi when it comes to defense. I mean, even though KD is a great defensive player, Kawhi Leonard is an all-time, you're going to remember my name defensive player. So I do got to give him respect on that. But I just think, again, the reason why I have to go with KD, even though you just literally just mouthed out the glory of all glories, because that's some sick stats. When you said 64, because when I said 62, I was kind of hoping it was lower than that. But you said 64, and I was just like, oh, man, it's going to be tough. But I still got to roll with KD because, again, when you're 6'10", 6'11", whatever he wants to be on whatever day, very long arms, very imposing far as height. And see, the thing is, he's not slow. He moves like a guard. I just feel deep in my heart, especially if I was a coach, I can do a lot more with that player. And it's not like that's all he does. He's so efficient as a shooter in general that I just feel like I could do a lot more in placement of a Kawhi Leonard. Now, again, this is all subjective. If people are like, you know what, Rick, forget all that. I'm going to go with the guy that plays defense because defense wins games. Kawhi Leonard, as B. Jizzle said, 64% in that paint. We could do it like Michael Jordan used to do it back in the day. We don't need a KD. I wouldn't argue with you. Wouldn't even be mad at you. But I believe when you got a guy that's 6'10", 6'11", and that can move like KD can, it can stop and pop, can post you up and fade away, can come off a screen and do a quick shot or pump fake you and drive to the hoop for an easy slam dunk, can also dunk on dunkers, is very tough mentally at this point in his career. I just feel like it's a slight edge for me with KD. But if people feel indifferent and think Kawhi Leonard is over KD, I won't be mad at that either. But I'm just kind of stating my facts on why I feel like KD is just a better movable piece on the chessboard, because I think his attributes that God gave him is just way more helpful to any collective offensive set in the NBA and any team in the NBA. But that's all I got, B. Jizzle.
Okay. So let me go ahead and make my last point because you said a mouthful. Basketball is a mental game more than physical. And for me, that's where the great players become who they are, by having the belief and having the mental strength to overcome everybody, all obstacles. This is what I'll say about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, like you said, more physically gifted than Kawhi Leonard, more talented, more God gifted, right? 6'10", you know what I'm saying, can shoot over anybody, has long range, can dribble, all that stuff is skills. Since 2017, we have been asking questions, not myself, because I didn't think it was a punk move. I thought it was, it was okay for him to go to Golden State. But the masses have been saying that Kevin Durant, can he lead his team to a championship without teaming up with other players? My thing is this. Again, not taking nothing from Kevin Durant, but I can see other people questioning his mindset. Because it's like, look, if you feel like you're the best player in the NBA, why do you need to team up with Golden State to win a championship? Now, I think he wanted to go to Golden State because he liked how they played and how they moved the ball and shared the ball, which is fine. Kevin Durant is the type of person that will put his ego aside and just compliment other great players and play with them, which is a very LeBron James mindset. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't really care about, being, the head honcho, doesn't want to, think about leading his team to a championship. He just wants to win. He'll do whatever it takes, making strategic moves to win. They built another super team in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying, with James Harden and Kyrie Irving. So they're definitely heavy favorites. This is why I give it to Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi has a very Michael Jordan, Kobe mindset, which is like, look, I'm not looking to team up and make a super team. I'm looking to slay the monster. He had an opportunity to go to the Lakers with LeBron and AD. He shut them down, and everybody, including me, thought that he was going to go to the Lakers, but he ended up going to the Clippers, building his own team, and then getting another complimentary player, which was Paul George. But he didn't try to compete by having a very super team like KD and LeBron did. Very similar to what Giannis did. He would rather be the guy like, look, I don't need a super team. I feel like I'm good enough, much confident in myself to be the best player in the league, most unstoppable force, and win a championship. That's what's the difference to me. Because physically, we can talk all day about skills and all that stuff, they're pretty much neck and tuck. But the mindset, I feel like what Kawhi Leonard, he runs away with. Because when they asked him the question after he got hurt in Game 4 against Utah Jazz, he said, look, I'm not trying to win just the Western Conference Finals. I'm trying to win the NBA championship. You don't hear other guys talking like that against, trying to defeat the Brooklyn Nets. Everybody has their mindset like Brooklyn is pretty much the dominant force. They're going to win the championship. But Kawhi Leonard said, we're not scared of them. We can defeat this team, and I'm going to do whatever I can. And like I said, going back to my point, in 2017, Kawhi Leonard was cooking the Warriors by himself. And then Zaza had to, stick his foot out to get Kawhi Leonard hurt. And who knows, if Kawhi Leonard was healthy that whole series, they would have beat the Golden State Warriors. And we wouldn't be talking about this super team that, is unbeatable. They almost got beat by the Houston Rockets just a year later in 2018. So that's who this dude is, man. Like, I get the measurements Kevin Durant has, but Kawhi Leonard has that mindset of a Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. So if you give me that, I will understand why people say he's the most unstoppable player in the NBA. But that's my last point, bro.
All right. And my last point is, hey, we got these shirts for $25. We got the all black, the all red, the all white, and we got the white takes. I had to end it like that because B Jizzle out here defeating me on the doggone argument game because I can't sit up here and lie because, yes, I got to agree with that one. That's one thing I can't run from. Hey, man, Kawhi Leonard is kind of like the Greek freak in the mindset of, look, I'm trying to win, and I'm trying to win it the I don't even say the honest way, but I'm trying to win it the real way, how they used to do it. And when it comes to that argument and measurement, Kawhi got it. Giannis got it. I can't, because KD, when he made that move, and then the problem was you went to the team that you should have beat, so it just makes it look worse. As you put it, I'm not knocking the man. You were a free agent. You went to where you felt like you had a better chance to win a championship, or it felt better for you far as a system. But man, B Jizzle, you got me on that one. When it comes right down to it, playing the old school way, I want to beat my opponent. I want to get better. Yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Kawhi. So, hey, man, like I said, we got these shirts for $25, black, red, and white. White tanks, ladies, don't be afraid to get one. It's your boy at RickMasters23 or Mr. Lee. Hit me up on Instagram. Rick Masters on every other social media platform. $25. Hit me or B Jizzle up in our DMs. Back to you, B Jizzle.
Yes, sir. Like my boy said, that's on our social media. You know what I'm saying? The Pull Up Basketball Podcast on YouTube and Spotify. Continue to like, share, subscribe our videos. You know what I'm saying? Continue to follow us on Instagram and Facebook for our new updates. You know what I'm saying? Continue to get our shirts, $25 a pop, white, black, and red, and white tank tops. We really appreciate all the support. And we're going to continue to work hard for you guys and make this the biggest show on the YouTube platform. Until next time, pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull up out of here like swimwear. Peace.
Up and down, I'm really from the town. Got the bloody shoes, the gang moving me. I'm moving with a smile. Dumb it down. On my high, jockey. Ladies love me, suckers me. The main attraction, Ricky Bobby. Around the block and curved a couple times. Around some shooting, seen a couple nines, a couple millions, hit a couple dimes. Thinking on my name, they on sucker time. The hood started to say the least. Blessings going up, but my presence don't decrease. Always in the mix, but I was never in the streets. You can't compare some coochie to the belly of the beast.